What's up, everybody? We're live, or I'm live. You're watching me live. Wanted to get on here and do a little update podcast. Man, these livelies, these uh single ones or solo ones are always so awkward for me. Um, just it's not as easy doing a solo one as it is having banter back and forth between a guest or someone. But I hadn't done a podcast in a couple weeks on here. Did a couple on Dan's channel, but not on here. So I wanted to come up here and since it's the beginning of 2025, kind of give you a update on where everything stands with this particular platform and my life and everything going on, and the plans for 2025. What's up, Zeke, James, whoever you guys are, whoever's watching? First of all, I want to talk about sponsors. So, sponsors are always a touchy subject. I love my sponsors. I think I have 4 really good ones that are really helpful for us. And to be honest with you, they don't require a lot from me. All the companies aren't pushy. They like to have kind of that natural marketing, not necessarily that pushy marketing that you see some companies advocating for. So that's going to be the same this coming year. I've talked to all of them for 2025. Sorry, my senile old poodle is having problems. He's always barking and just pooping in the house, and I'm about done with him. Anyway, if you hear that, that's our old poodle Hank. Bless his heart. It's going to be Latitude. Latitude is kind of not our newest sponsor, but is a company that's really helped me the last couple of years. I saw some of their videos on ATA, and they got some stuff that I've kind of been asking them for coming out. They're having I love to saddle hunt, and I wish my saddle platform was bigger, and they're coming out with a bigger platform. So I'm really excited about that. They also offer everybody on here 15% off if you just use the code BTE whenever you're shopping over there at Latitude Outdoors.com. They're also coming out with a new saddle. It's called the Method 3. That's all going to be this summer, though. It's a long time down the road. I just saw previews of it from ATA from a channel called Revive Outdoors. He did a pretty good job of reviewing a bunch of stuff at ATA. Leave in the comments section. Did you guys follow that stuff on ATA? It's not nearly as fun as what it used to be, but there seemed like there was some pretty cool stuff. ASIO Gear, still going to have them as a sponsor. You guys know ASIO Gear. I thought about doing a video about camouflage. Well, I'll get into that later. If camouflage is important or not, the short answer is it's not overly important, but I think it's important, supporting hunting companies. And typically camo companies are hunting companies, right? And a lot of times clothing companies like Patagonia and Wrangler and a bunch of these other companies are extremely anti-hunting. Specifically, I think Patagonia is donates to PETA and stuff. So anyways, that was what the video is going to be about. But anyway, if you need some clothing, ASIO Gear, Echo 15. One thing I need to do with my sponsors are get my codes all the same. That'd be way easier for me, because people always ask me what's the code for ASIO? I'm like, it's either Echo or BTE, and some of them have 15 on the end of them, some of them don't. And then the original sponsor, Stealth Outdoors, I think you still got that 10% off code from Lou over there at Stealth Outdoors if you need stealth strips. And then the newest sponsor that just came on this fall is Razor Broadheads. You guys know I've had Dave from Razor Broadheads on. We went hunting in Kansas together last year. They make really great single bevel broadheads up there in Michigan, and I really like them. I used them this year on my compound as well as when I've shot the stick bow, either one. So they actually have, Dave was talking to me the other day, they have a couple new broadheads coming out that I'm pretty actually excited about. Kind of going to be more up my alley, or what I would like to shoot with a compound. So, yeah. Okay. So if you guys don't know yet, and I think we've done a pretty good job of telling everybody this, but Dan is coming back on to co-host with me every other week. So last week we were on Chasing, or I almost called it Chasing the Beast. Fun fact, we were going to call this show Chasing the Beast when we first started it, but there were some terminology issues with the Hunting Beast company, the product company, or whatever, the tree stand and stick company. So we just ended up calling it Before the Echo. But I almost call this thing Chasing the Beast, which nobody even know what the heck that means. But Dan's channel on the Hunting Beast, we're going to do a podcast there. And this week, like, we'll do podcast on this show and go back and forth. So we're just splitting the work. Instead of trying to do everything on one channel and then putting hunts on the other, we're just doing this way. It's a better setup than what we used to have. And I think everybody's going to be a lot more happy with it, because running these shows, it seems like it's not much work, but it actually is kind of a lot of work. You got to, I pay for this platform that I'm using. You got to take time to set it up, edit it after it's finished, upload it to a bunch of other platforms. If you had really fast internet, it probably wouldn't be too bad, but I have really slow internet, so everything takes a long time. So we're doing that. We really need to help with topics this off season. It's really easy to produce hunting content during hunting season, but outside of hunting season, it's kind of difficult. So let's, if you guys could help us out, that'd be great. Go ahead and just, if you think of something you want to hear Dan or me talk about, let me know. And whether that be in the comment section here, don't leave them in the live chat because I can't see those. But after the video's over, if you think about something, just let me know. I got, I do a pretty good job of keeping a list. I'll just show you guys here of topics. I mean, this isn't my only pages, but I got pages of video ideas, topics, and whatnot to go through. But so that's going to be the hunting side of this channel. Every 2 weeks we're going to have hunting content on. Now it might be maybe more than that. It's probably not going to be less than that. Me and Dan were pretty consistent when we were doing it together. May have other guests on when Dan's not available or whatever the case may be. But on the off weeks, at the very least, me and Patrick are going to start back our Bible study up. And actually we're going to start reading through Matthew. So and I'll try to do a better job this year of like announcing what it's going to be. So you guys can like study up if you want to with the show. And me and Patrick are not experts on the Bible. So it's nice to have, there's always like some pastors that listen, some people that are more knowledgeable about certain topics than we are. Just because we're not knowledgeable about doesn't mean we're not going to bring it up or talk about it, because that's how you learn. But we're going to start probably this coming week going through Matthew's, and the plan is just like read a few chapters and then take notes on it, and then we'll talk about it and then keep going. And then me and Patrick will talk about deer hunting too, which is kind of inevitable that we're going to, or whatever topics going on in the world right at the moment. So those are going to be on the off weeks of Dan and myself, and me and Patrick may get on here and do them every week. It just depends on, he started in a new job Monday, so he has a little bit less time and all that. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Let's see what else. Someone asked about when do you normally start shed hunting and scouting? So really right now I'll start scouting. Shed hunting, you're not wasting your time right now, but there's still a lot of antlers on deer's heads right now. So I mean, shed hunting, like March is whenever I really start shed hunting hard. Now you're going to have people scoop up some antlers before then that you may miss, but now I used to, when I was younger and had like unlimited time, like most young people do, I'd just go all the time. Like I'd go now until turkey season started. I'd be out there like 4 or 5 times a week. And that is not the case anymore. I'll be lucky to go out a handful of times now shed hunting. So I always wait till it's prime time. In March, a lot of the antlers are off their heads finally in March. This seems like an early year though for sheds. Like I'm seeing a lot of people with fresh sheds on social media. Yep. That's what I would say. The scouting wise though, I mean, right now is the best time to start scouting. Well, if you don't have 13 inches of snow on the ground like we do right now, we got a bunch of snow on the ground, which, snow's a double-edged sword. You can see everything right now in the snow where the deer are, but the deer aren't necessarily going to be where they're at right now during deer season. So it's kind of important to be able to, see the actual ground itself, and not just the where they're walking on the snow right now, because they're more than likely not going to be in that area come October and November. All right. That's a good topic. What are you supposed to do the next 9 months? Yeah. I still get that, and I shouldn't, because it's not good. But just being truthful with you, I get that that season's over depression a little bit. Like, man, what am I going to do now? But we got all this snow, and I was really excited about it. Like I was telling Maddie before it came, like, man, we haven't had a big snow in Southern Indiana for quite a few years, and now it's up. Now it's here, and like 12 hours after we had it, I was like, I'm over this crap, dude. Let's get this stuff out of here. But it's not going anywhere for a while. It's gonna be cold here for a good bit of time. Got some other things going on as far as like video content. Look at this, guys. I got me a hunting slingshot. I'm thinking about doing some small game hunting with this thing. I haven't really messed with it because it's been nasty outside. I just got it in, but I got me a slingshot to try to like rabbit hunt with. Does anybody in here ever use a slingshot for hunting? There's actually ones out now, like Gearhead has one out that shoots a proper arrow, and like people kill deer with them. And I talked to Gearhead a little bit about getting me one, and I never did, but I think that'd be a cool video to make, like shooting a deer, like trying to shoot a deer with a slingshot. And I'm into that kind of crap, like, it's like long bows, self bows, that kind of thing. And I think killing a deer with a slingshot. Now that slingshot they have, it's barely a slingshot. Like you shoot an arrow broadhead out of it. But I also need to make sure it's legal to hunt with that thing in Indiana. I think it is. We'll see though. Something else I wanted you guys to talk about. Me and Dan were talking about this the other day. Do you guys like those intros that we put together? Like Jeremy put the one in for Dan's channel. I always put mine in. Or would you rather have it like I talk about the ads a little bit, like I just did in the start of this podcast? That's why I did this podcast, because I thought, is it better that way for the audience, or do you guys just like an intro? Like, do you like that? Give me 2 minutes to get ready for the show kind of thing. What do you guys think about that? Let me know, because I'm not against getting rid of my intro and just popping in here live. Obviously, I have to talk about my sponsors a little bit, but that's what they pay for. But I just wonder what's easier for you guys to listen to, or better. And as far as like videos go, I'm going to be super busy this year with work, my real job. So, it's this channel is going to be a lot of like talking head videos, which is what you're looking at right now. And I kind of like doing those. Like I'm a kind of a thinker. I think about a lot of things, and I just like to sit down and like chew out topics with you guys. A lot of times I'm wrong about my thoughts, and that's okay. Like I like to get in there and think about things, and it's how you learn, is to have people critique you or give you other opinions or ideas. So I'm going to try to do at least like a weekly, just a video about certain topics that are going on right now in the hunting industry. That's what a lot of that's going to be about. Of course, I'll have hunting videos on here too, but something that's a little more sustainable for a channel like mine. And people come to this channel mostly for that type of video. I mean, that's kind of what we've grown the channel into. Sitting here talking. If you guys got any other questions, just leave them in the comments section, and I'll try to answer them today. I got like an hour today. We actually have a Christmas today, our family Christmas. It was supposed to be last weekend. It got canceled because of the snow. So we're doing it this weekend. Steve, that's a good idea. Do a show on your favorite shows on YouTube. Yeah, I was doing that. I was doing that a little bit, where I would like watch a video and review it for people. And I like doing those because it helps. I mean, it helps the channel. It helps the YouTube channel that I'm showing you guys, because a lot of people, and I like to find ones that are like unknown videos or just unknown channels. I'll do more of those because they're pretty easy for me to make as well. You know, it didn't require a whole bunch of time. I need to look at a better way of doing that though, and I'll figure that out. I am going to get better internet too, by the way, everybody. I apologize. My internet used to be really good, and I don't know what happened, but like over the last year, it has just sucked. I don't know if more people have gotten it in this area, so the quality's went down a bunch. I mean, just horrible. So it's been really frustrating because you paid for a certain amount of speed, you know, that they promised back in the day when I bought the internet. Now it's not there anymore. Yeah, I'll do that if I get invited with those guys. That's not something you just go do. Is you don't just go hunting with the hunting public. Oh, that's funny. That'd be cool though. I missed that. I missed that time frame with Dan when he was really involved with those guys. I was actually with Dan the first year that they or the I was with the Hunting Beast doing videos the last year that um they did the public land challenge, but it was in Indiana, and I don't know. Dan told me that they didn't think I should come because it was my home state. I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason or not. They may just had too many people and they didn't want to break my heart, and that's all right either way. But uh, let's see here. Still going to work with. I was talking to. I'm just talking about some other sponsors. They're not really sponsors. They're just like guys that have helped me out over the years. Prime Bows. I'm getting they're going to send me that new carbon bow. Eventually, it's going to be this spring sometime, but I'm kind of excited to get that in my hands and test that thing out. That looks like a cool bow, but shout out to those guys. They're always such good guys to work with and make a really good product too. Here we go. Marty Miller, he says, I want to hear you guys talk more about scent control. He says, I know you can't beat. I read like a sixth grader, so you got to bear with me when I read stuff on the internet in front of a bunch of people. He says, I know you can't beat a deer's nose, but I listen to Bomar talk about it, and his theory is that he wants to mitigate scent as much as possible. Yeah, I'm still like very in the experimental stage of scent control, even after 20 some odd years of hunting. I'm not that Dan's closed minded about it, but Dan does not have any interest at all in talking about scent control or practicing any kind of scent control. So it's kind of like, you know, Dan has his reasons for that. He has his what he thinks about it, and I don't at this point in his life, you're not going to change his mind about it. So maybe I have a couple of really good resources on scent control, guys that really believe in it, you know, outside of guys like John Eberhart, who's on like the way end of the other extreme. So he actually emailed me the other day about coming on again. So maybe we'll get him on here and get some kind of I don't know. I'm interested into it, Marty, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think that stuff's interesting. I don't know if I'm not sure I got the personality for scent control. If that makes sense. Like, I'm very, very, I don't know, disoriented sometimes. I got some ADHD going on, but the guys that use it properly seem to swear by it. What did Josh Bomar say about it, Marty? Or maybe I'll just look it up. You don't have to type it all out here. I'll tell you a really good resource that I found on scent control that was just an excellent podcast was Mission Whitetails, which is the ASIO's website, ASIO's podcast. Joe got on he got like maybe 6 to 8 guys on, different hunters, and it was like really good hunters, right? Like Bobby Worthington, Andy May, There was Andre DeQuisto. There was a couple other guys, like guys that you would know, and he essentially asked them all the same questions about scent control, what they did, what they didn't do, and some of the answers would surprise you. Adam Hayes might have been the other one. I can't remember who all was on there, but everybody had a little different things to say about it. It was really good. It was a really good podcast, Marty. That's something you're interested in. I would definitely look into that because, like, me and Dan, we're not the only opinions, and we're not the only right answer about that stuff. Let's see here. Seth has he says, has anybody tried the carbon mask that filters your exhaled air? I don't know if you're talking about like a proper like PPE mask. I mean, ScentLock has a face cover mask. Johnny Stewart swears by it. Johnny Stewart, who's a public land hunter like me and you, kills all kinds of deer. He doesn't wear ScentLock, but he wears that ScentLock mask. He thinks it helps. He goes to the point where he hires a cameraman every year. He goes to the point he'll buy them ScentLock masks too to wear. So everybody has their own like ingredients they use for deer hunting, and some people love that stuff. Let's see here. Marty's answering my question here. So Bomar said he uses sealed totes and pumps ozone in them. Uses lots of cover scents like pine shampoo and other products. Interesting. Only wears rubber boots. Screw that. I don't like wearing rubber boots. He does everything. Interesting. Huh. I didn't see that coming. He also sets in box blinds a lot, I noticed. So that has to help with your scent. Don Higgins was the other one that Joe interviewed about scent control. Don Higgins and Dan Infeld are very similar in their tactics and their thinking, by the way. I've noticed that they have very similar thoughts on stuff and in life in general. Here you go. GFY. It can't hurt to control your scent. Ozone on my gear really helped. My buddy Zach that lives up in northern Indiana or central Indiana, northern for me from where I'm at. He swears by ozone too. He uses it. He hunts a lot of those urban deer, and he also has farms too. He doesn't just hunt urban deer, but yeah, he swears by it too, guys. Like there's something a lot of guys use it. I have never used ozone properly. I mean, I used to have a little bitty ozone generator that was about the size of my mic here. That would just for totes and stuff. I know some of those ozone products the ozone can decay some elastic and rubber and stuff in your boots, but I don't know about all that. But Seth, to answer your question, I haven't really messed with the carbon masks, but I know several guys that use them and like them, like Johnny Stewart, obviously Johnny Eberhart. Yep. Hunter. Okay, let's see here, Hunter. How tight can a pinch point be before deer will not use it? I mean, I think if they could get through a place, they're going to use it. Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, you could pinch them down. It would have to be nothing for a deer not to get through it or not want to use it. I don't think pinch points per se scare them. I mean, I've seen them go through holes in a fence before. So, yeah, I don't think it can be too small of a pinch point. Yeah, I mean, the thing about pinch points are you got to hunt them on the right winds, unless you're a scent control guy, I guess. But you got to hunt them on the right winds, and you also have to really think about your ground scent when it comes to pinch points, because there's going to be such a concentration of deer, hopefully, right? That's what we're all looking for, essentially, is a pinch point, whether that be, a trail coming out of marsh or a saddle and hill country. It's like they're all pinch points, kind of. But the thing is, I think just because you have a pinch point doesn't mean it's a good pinch point for every win, every scenario. That's something that I have got to do this summer or this off season is start. Uh, I'm horrible, and I know better than to do this. I don't know why I do this, but I'm horrible about like finding a good spot, and then I'll be like, I'll get there. I'm like, oh, this is a great spot. I'm gonna sit here this fall, and then I leave. Like I need to do better. Be like, okay, if I have if I have a northwest wind, I need to get in this tree right here. If I have a southwest wind, I need to, or whatever southeast wind, I need to get in this tree right here. That's one of my goals for this coming year is like I want to nail down specific trees. I do too much fumbling around the woods when I get in there. It really aggravates me. I think if I would have had a certain area scouted out early season, I probably would have killed one of my biggest deer to date with a muzzleloader. But I didn't, and I was fumbling around the woods and ended up spooking a bunch of deer, including that deer. And then that was the end of my season. I didn't ever see him again after that. Anyway, I was going to tell you guys too. I know I used to have a sponsor in Exodus trail cameras. They obviously went out of business. But they there's two companies now. I think Tacticam. I know Tacticam and Moultrie are both giving, like, you can trade in your Exodus cameras and they'll give you a new Moultrie. So I always wanted to mention that because I know some of you guys may have bought Exodus trail cameras because I was using them, and there is an option now to get it. I mean, even if it's the regular SD card cameras, Exodus regular SD card cameras, you can trade them into those two companies right now and get new ones. So get that done if you have a bunch of Exodus cameras for sure. Here we go. Marty's getting back with me with Mr. Josh Bomar. He said he uses sealed totes and pumps ozone into them. Uses lots of cover. Oh, I already read this, didn't I? See, guys, I'm losing my mind. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm ready for, everybody, is turkey season. I don't know. I've gotten into turkey hunting the last couple of years. I think it's because I'm getting better at it, like being better at calling them and stuff. And turkey hunting's pretty fun if you guys have never tried that or didn't know that. Here we go. Side note for the carbon mask, they keep bugs away also. Is that because you have a mask on, GFY Racing, or is that some kind of component of carbon that creates some kind of a bug deterrent? Mark says he does the same thing. I find great spots in the spring and never hunt them. Yeah, it's not that I don't hunt them. It's that I need to make the decision on the trees and where I'm going to sit at in the springtime. You can't be perfect in the spring because you're going to have much different coverage of the trees in the fall, especially when the leaves come off. But I just go in there. I'm like, this is the spot, and then it's like, well, yeah, this is the area you need to be in, but I need to like nail down the spot. I used to be in the opposite thinking. I used to be like, no, you can't do that in the spring because it's going to be all different. It was like, well, yeah, but you can get pretty close to where you need to be and at least get in the tree you want to be in. So that's a goal of mine this spring, is to get some more, get things narrowed down a little bit. I think this week, Dan and me, I think it's my week to be on this channel. I'm going to talk about goals like for 2025 and expectations, what we did poorly, what we did better. Obviously, Dan has a couple more weeks of hunting. But I was going to tell you guys too. Here we go. My buddy Scott. Maybe Scott's listening. If you are, hey Scott Cronin. He just was saying, deer in Kentucky are ahead of schedule, already casting antlers. Squirrel hunt and shed hunt, he said. So there you guys go. Maybe they are ahead of schedule and need to start shed hunting. Billy says, Josh, do you do a hill country workshop? No. No, I won't. I mean, Dan might one year. I don't. Maybe 1 year, maybe one day I'll feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to host a proper workshop. I would have to bring in people that know what they're doing. better than I do. Like I still have a lot to learn before I need to be teaching people, paying me money to teach them how to deer hunt. In my opinion, maybe I have a little bit of an imposter syndrome, but it's just how I feel. I don't know if I want to. I don't want to be a teacher yet. Because whatever I can teach you on here is good enough for me. I don't think I need to expand that anymore. Dan does them though. Dan does. He's done hill country ones in the past. He did mention on his channel last week. Someone asked him about hill country workshops, and I guess last year he tried one and didn't really fill up. So he was hesitant to do another one. So I guess if you guys want him, may have to bug him about it a little bit so he kind of knows that you got enough, enough interest to make it justify having one. Marty says I should film some coyote hunts. Yeah, I needed to coyote hunt. My dad and uncles have coyote dogs, and I always thought that'd be an interesting video to do. I would need to go film them. It's pretty entertaining too. There's just a bunch of redneck guys running around chasing coyotes with dogs. But yeah. Maybe we'll do that. To be truthful, I need to set up a coyote gun with thermals because we have a gigantic problem right now where I hunt out with coyotes, and it feels like it's overwhelming. And like Dan said last week, I don't know if you can even do a dent in them, but Billy, I would tell you this: Bo Martonic does a mountain hunting workshop out in PA. That would be I want to go to that thing. And Bo does it in the manner of he has like really good hunters come to the workshop. Like Johnny Stewart goes, Bo's there, Bo's dad, who's a really good hunter, is there. There's a couple other guys that help him with it. And so you got like this very diverse array of opinions, and you go out scouting with those guys together. I think you got to get in groups. Don't quote me on that because I've actually never been to one. I'd love to go to one, but you go out with these different groups and they all teach you how they go about walking in the woods. And that to me is really interesting. I think you stay in Johnny's cabin. Johnny has a really nice cabin in PA, and you guys, that would be a good one to look into. I think it fills up extremely fast, and it may even be a waiting list or something. But if you guys don't know about that one, go to the East Meets West podcast, and I think Bo kind of keeps everybody up to date over there on that. Well, if you guys, I guess if you guys want that video about me thermal hunting coyotes, I'm gonna have to buy one then, just for the sake of YouTube. Here we go. Seen anything from ATA you like yet? Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of stuff. I actually asked this question earlier, Archer, and for you guys to say something about that. I don't know if anybody's put anything in there, but there's a few things that I really thought were neat. The Profile XL platform from Latitude, I really am interested in that. Now I'm gonna back it up a little bit. There's nothing anymore that really impresses me a whole bunch with as far as new gear. But that thing I'm interested in just because I could buy. There's big platforms on the market. Like you guys could go and get you a big platform for saddle hunting. Yeah, there's a bunch of companies that sell them, but Latitude didn't have one. So being the sponsor, I shouldn't use other people's gear. That wouldn't be very nice of me. Outside of Beast Gear, I got it in my contract. There's not whatever you want to say. I had an agreement with Latitude that I can still use Beast Gear if I want to. That Profile XL platform, I'm going to have one of those. And then they got some new packs too that look nice. And then to tell you one that's not a sponsor, I thought that it may not be interesting for a lot of people. I thought that little saw tether has now that you can connect it to a stick and use it as a pole. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. That's something I would buy probably and get me one. So those are the two things I've seen, and I've seen very limited amount of stuff. But like new saddles, new sticks, there's nothing that has really been like, oh wow, look at that, Mark, this is a good question. How much will you shoot your bow the next few months? I start shooting my longbow this time of year a ton, and that is because we go to archery shoots for traditional archery shoots during the summertime. I actually got my longbow out, got some new arrows. Here you go. Here's a tip for you guys right now, or if you guys need new arrows right now, Black Eagle has some killer deals on their arrows on their clearance section. Um, Here, I'll just show you guys these prices because maybe they're good, maybe they're not good. They seem like a heck of a deal to me. Um, let's see here. I'm just going to share my screen and give you guys a little tip here. So yeah, Black Eagle right now has their clearance. Like I bought these. These are their traditional instinct arrows. Um, $60 right now for a dozen of their shafts. So I bought a couple of those. They're originally $120. I mean, yeah, they had some really good deals on some of their stuff right now. There's if you guys you're not into fleshing your own arrows, they got ones that are already fleshed up for you. So yeah, I don't even know if these are actually on sale or not, the other ones, but these instinct arrows, that's what I'm shooting out of my traditional bow. There, I'm back. Yeah, the sponsorship discount codes are really helpful. GFY, I like those. I like having those for you guys. I don't think I would do a sponsorship unless they would give me a code to use. It's just not fair. I mean, I think it's only fair if you guys are going to sit there and listen to an ad. At least you get to. It's like a timeshare, right? You got to listen to the spiel. You get a little money off or get a free trip out of it. But yeah, Mark, I shoot my bow all year round. Now my compound bow, I'll shoot it starting in probably July. I don't know if that's best practice. Some people shoot less than that. Some people shoot more. YouTube user. That's a good username. He said, I like the long form hunting videos you did on the Beast channel. More info, where and why you set up where you are. The shorter videos on your channel are good, but I love these longer ones. Yeah. I'll try to do more. I'll try to do some of that stuff still. It's just one of those things where you gotta make them, and they don't just pop up on YouTube. Dan has been putting out some long videos. If you guys, there's some people that are in the boat where they love the long detailed stuff, and there's some people that want a 20-minute video. So it's like a yin and a yang. Like you got to find some kind of a medium. And Dan's grown the audience that likes the extremely long. I mean, that Nebraska video, wasn't it like 2 hours long that he put on there? So he does a really good job of getting really good long form content. Let's see here. Thanks though, YouTube user. Thanks for the feedback. Billy, he says, here's you guys a product. Saddle hunting, the hip pitch eliminator from Genesis 3D printing. Can't say enough about that for $15. Okay. I don't have problems with hip pinch in my saddle. Is that I think that's a stick that like holds the saddle out a little bit so it doesn't pinch your hips as bad. I've heard good things about that. I think a couple other people I've heard mention that. Mark says, on my Iowa hunt, did you practice the weak side shot in the off season? I did a little bit. I was listening to I always worried about that weak side shot, and it is a legitimate concern. And I was listening to Tony, like I've made that shot like quite a few times now out of the saddle. And Tony Peterson said something the other day on Meat Eater about the weak side shot. I don't know if it was the other day. It was a video I watched the other day. I think they made it a long time ago. But he's like, you always worry about that shot, but then it's like when you're up there and your adrenaline's going or whatever, you just like make it happen. And he said it's not as hard as what you think it would be to get adjusted. And he's kind of right. I mean, he's right and he's wrong. Like you need to know how to do it. and like go through the motions of how to shoot the weak side shot. But it's like once you got a buck there, you kind of do what you have to do to get it done. And that's kind of how what that he's right about that. Like that's what's happened to me every time I've had to take a weak side shot. But to answer your question, 100%, I practiced it in with a saddle. I just did it at ground level. Like I put my platform at ground level and then got in there and I would practice my weak side shot almost exclusively. Like I didn't hardly practice the left, shooting out to my left. That's pretty natural. That's one reason I want the bigger platform though, is because I feel like it's going to give me a stabler, easier way of shooting to my weak side. If that makes sense, Mark. That's why I'm excited about that big platform coming out. How about this? If you guys are listening to this and you use thermals, I have some buddies that help me with some of this stuff and are pretty knowledgeable about it. But let me know what kind of scope. I don't know nothing about this stuff. Thermals. Like, let me know what kind of scope you think is best and what to use and what caliber is a good gun for a coyote. I mean, I know what would work, but I don't know if there's anything you guys prefer. Be interesting to hear what you had to say. Man, there was something else I was going to talk to you about. Talked to you about that already. Maybe there's not. But my goal, okay, so this is my goal. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but obviously I'm going to do some type of a live every week. I want to do a talking head video every week for you guys where I just sit down and talk about a subject, whatever it may be, something I feel like the industry is getting wrong, or maybe just something that's helpful. I thought about making a video about like, this is my vision for this video is I want to make a video like, this is what you need to know if you're a new hunter. And I give some good tips and then ask people that aren't new hunters in the comment section to leave, their tips for new hunters. And then that would be a really good resource for like a new guy that's trying to get into hunting, go there. And then he could also read the comment section and see a whole bunch of other stuff from people. Sometimes you got to get back to the basics, right? Like there's still good new guys coming into hunting, and the guys that have been listening to this podcast or been hunting for a long time, they're not necessarily new people anymore, and they probably have a lot of good tips for people that are new. So it'd be good to make a video like that. I think that would do good on YouTube also. Bradley, yes, I talked about that earlier. We're going to start that back up this week. We're going to start going through Matthew this week. Do you use heated socks? I did use heated socks this year for the first time, and they work well. Patrick swears by them, dude. Them guys down south, they got cold feet. He uses them all the time. But we were hunting there in December in Tennessee, and it was cold in the mornings, but like, down in the 20s. But it would get up to like 50 during the day. And he had them heated socks, dude. His feet were sweating so much that he was sweating through his boots. His boots were getting wet, and he loved it. He's like, dude, I want them hot. I'm like, yeah, that looks like it'd be uncomfortable to me, but yeah, heated socks work well. You got to think though, it is another thing. It's something you got to have charged, and it's electric component that can break. So, but they are nice. They work. Patrick T had a dang app for his where he could like change the temperature on his phone from, when he's sitting in his stand. Like if his feet got a little cold, he'd turn them up a little bit, turn them down. I have no idea what brand he used, but I was using I got the Oro. I'm butchering that name. It's like ORRO. Oro. Fun fact. I bought their vest on Amazon. It's a really good, it's like a name brand heated vest. And I made a video about it because I'm like, I love this thing. I'm going to tell people about it. And I did. I told I made a video about it, not thinking. I mean, not even this company. I didn't think in the million years that they would ever see this video or anything, And the video did really good. It got like 30 or 40,000 views, and I get an email randomly like 6 months later, and it was that company, and they're like, we'd like to just send you some stuff and thank you for that video. So they ended up sending my wife a heated jacket and then me those heated socks. So shout out to Oro. don't even know the name of the company. Oro. It's you can Google. I think it's ORRO. I like them. They're cool guys because they sent me a free pair of heated socks. Bradley, the Bible chat is we're starting it back. I just said that. Golly, guys, lost my mind. I'm trying to reduce my caffeine intake, and I think it's affecting me today. Is anybody else addicted to caffeine? Man, I've gotten addicted to caffeine over the last handful of years. I'm trying to lay off of it. No energy drinks, only coffee, and trying to cut my coffee consumption in half. Because I work from home and I do this stuff. So I'm sitting here at this desk an awful lot. And I just sip on coffee all day and I end up drinking like 4 cups of coffee. But yeah, I was going to tell you guys too. I got this really cool Bible. It's the English Standard Version, but it's just the New Testament. You can buy the Old Testament too, but I just got the New Testament for now. But it has like section. It has like a note section on the sides. So I bought that to really start focusing in on getting these Bible studies back up. Patrick wants to as well. And it's like a selfish reason to do this, honestly. Like it's more to keep us honest, like give us a reason to read the Bible. Like it's tough because you get busy and then those things go to the side, which it should not. But if we like commit to like, let's do this once a week, then at least we'll have some kind of a obligation to read the Bible and study up for it. It's kind of like if you're a runner and you sign up for a marathon, it gives you a reason to keep training for that marathon. So we're going to do that. Yeah, Steve, I'm a coffee junkie too. I was drinking so much of it. I think it's like giving me anxiety and stuff. Like I was just like, gosh, I get jittery and yeah. GFY Racing, he says the slip over boots with hand warmers inside. Yeah, those are nice too. Oh, you're from Buffalo, New York. I go to Buffalo all the time for work. One of my coworkers lives up there. Talk about snow. You guys, I'm here sitting there complaining about 12 inches, and you guys get that in a flurry. He lives in Eden, New York, which is right at right outside of Buffalo, I think. Yeah. Northern Michigan cold feet is just another day. Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about trying to get the audio Bible just to help me get through it a little faster or comprehend it a little better. I think if I listen to it and read it at the same time, it would help a little bit. Here's a book I'm reading right now that if you guys are wanting to like, I don't know, just understand your faith a little more, why you believe this is a really good book. It's called Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. It's pretty good. So I'm like 2/3 of the way through it, but I really like it. It's a good book. I would recommend for any Christian to read it. Let's see here. The Bible chats have been good too. Like the feedback was really good for it. I mean, it was something people seemed to enjoy. There was obviously people that didn't enjoy it, but that's all right. Something else I didn't talk about though. I changed my background. I think I like it a lot. I may get rid of this thing. It just seems like a lot going on. And I got a picture. Put this up there instead. It's a picture of a guy's rabbit hunting, and there's a rabbit up here. Beagle's running the rabbit, and then Hunter's back here. My mom got me this, but this is how I grew up hunting. My family were small game hunters. Now my uncle and my dad were bow hunters. They were big deer hunters. But I spent a lot of time with my grandpa growing up, and he was a small game hunter. He gun hunted for deer, but he did not bow hunt. He didn't see the point of it. He's like, I think his attitude was, why would you go bow hunt when you can gun hunt them? It's like he's like, we're here. He was here to get meat, and it was just easier to go out with a gun and get a bunch of meat than a bow. So, but nonetheless, I tell you that because he loved dogs, and he had all kinds of dogs: coon dogs, rabbit dogs, coyote dogs, and that's what I did with him a lot was rabbit hunting. Um, so that picture is kind of special to me. I really like it. I need to get it hung back up. So the old that probably it's going to be up here. Just go down the wall a little bit, and I put that one up there. I like it a lot better. I think. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just a buck flag, but somebody had a problem with it the other day. They said it's disrespectful or something to have an American flag that's not red, white, and blue. Like, that's not the purpose of it. Like I don't have any intentions for it to be disrespectful. Did you guys listen to? Oh, here's something we can talk about for a few minutes here. I got about 10 more minutes before I gotta go get ready for Christmas here. But did you guys watch the Michael Waddell and Joe Rogan Experience podcast? I thought it was really good. I thought Michael did a really good job of portraying a real hunter. He wasn't like apologetic for anything, and he talked about all kinds of things. That guy's cool. I like that guy. I'd love to get him on the podcast sometime. Obviously he's a big name and has a lot of probably gets pulled in a lot of directions, but he was my favorite hunter growing up. When I was a kid, I didn't look up to actors or people in sports, maybe golfers. I like golf a lot, but he was the guy for me. He was my Michael Jordan or my Tiger Woods. So fascinating guy, but yeah, it was a great show, Steve. I have to agree with you. I'm not a Joe Rogan podcast guy. Like if I see something I'm interested in, I'll listen to it, but I do not listen to every episode. I probably listen to, 3% of them. I mean, he has a bunch of them, but he also had Wesley Huff on there the other day. And Wesley is a biblical historian, linguist. He knows a bunch of languages and a bunch about them, but that was fascinating too. He had that guy on, Wes Huff, and that's worth listening to. Wesley Huff he has a YouTube channel. It's fairly new, but it already has 300,000 subscribers, but he has just a plethora of information about the Bible and like where it came from and some misconceptions about the Bible. It's a really good thing to learn to, where all this came from and how historians have put it together and why it's accurate. I would love to get a pack of beagles again. I don't know if my wife would love it. We haven't had Rosie, bless her heart. She's a great dog, but I think she's ruined my wife's want for any more dogs. She's been a handful. She's getting. There was a time frame when she was 9 months old until about a year old where she was just a terror, dude. We couldn't. She would just come in the house, and I mean, we keep her in the house, but like, she's just a wrecking ball, dude. We don't call her Rosie anymore. We call her Dozy because she's like a bulldozer. She just comes in and she gets excited. She runs into the wall, and she put a big hole in our wall. I don't know. It's been a month or so ago. It's like, she just got excited and she jumped on one of our chairs, and it flipped over and hit the wall and put a pretty good sized hole in the wall. But she's like 50% better now. She's getting calmer. She can chill out a little bit. Everybody tells me until they're about 2 years old, that's just how labs are. So we will see. Yeah, Steve. Some of the stuff they talk about, I'm just not interested in on the Joe Rogan Experience. Not that there's anything wrong with anything he has to talk about, but if he has something that's interesting, I definitely listen to it because he is very good at asking questions and like thinking through things, kind of as a normal guy. Anyways, I think I'm going to get off here, guys. We've been on here for a good. Thanks for asking questions and keeping the conversation going. I'm always nervous when I get on here. It's going to last like 15 minutes and nobody has any questions, and I'm like, ah. But I want to give you an update on the future of the channel and what we're looking at this year, it's going to be our best year. I mean, Dan coming back, so that's going to be huge. I think, maybe God will bless us with this Bible study and reach some more people through that. Either way, if we just help a person, that's always a positive. I'm probably going to try to do, especially if I can think of a good topic to talk about, like some solo ones. That's something that's important to me with this show. A lot of other podcasts, and this is not bad at all. Like those, like for example, like I look up to those guys, like the hunter guys. I don't want to say like look up to these other podcasts, but like I think they do a good job, is what I'm saying. Like the hunter, the Southern Outdoorsman, those guys, they do a great job with their podcast, and I just don't have the time to put into the guests. Guests are very hard to that is a whole nother aspect of work. Like you got to book them, you got to show them how to get on the channels. There's always something with the guest, and I love guests. I'm so thankful when they come on, but I'm very, very appreciative of you guys. I'm telling you all this to tell you this. I'm very appreciative of you guys that we've built on this community where I can get on here by myself and produce content that people like. I don't have to rely on anybody else, if that makes sense. It just, with having two young boys, another job, family around me, my 94-year-old grandma lives next to me. My parents live next. Like I'm always doing something with someone, and I'm super blessed to be able to get on here and just talk to the audience and have an hour conversation that people enjoy. So thank you for that, because I would go crazy if I had to get a guest every week. Oh, the Mitron Palo buck. I'll be honest with you. Probably won't talk about that anymore. It just doesn't seem productive. People get very mad about that, very hostile. And in fact, whenever we did talk about it, Mitch's son was in the comment section, in here, like mad. And I don't know nothing about it. I just asking questions, and yeah. Maybe though, we'll see. If something develops or something, we would definitely probably talk about it. Something else I'm trying to do a better job of is just kind of staying out of the drama part of hunting. Like I don't know, there's always like stuff going on that are clickbait. You can get a lot of views from it. Some of it's important to talk about. Some of it's just like the CJ Alexander stuff. Like that got blown up on the internet. Like I was sick and tired of hearing about that guy. Now everybody liked to view it, and it would, holy cow, $10. Thank you, Billy. I haven't had a super chat on here for a long time. That's what I'm most excited about. Dan coming back is my super chats. Let's pick up. No, I'm kidding. Thanks so much though, Billy. That's a good one. One thing I'm excited about with my work picking up and getting, this being a secondary income for me, is a lot more the resources I get on here are going to go towards this show, making things better. I wish I could get Dan's video quality better. I may buy him a camera and set it up for him at his house when I go up there for the workshop, because sometimes it's not very good. It's not very good on here sometimes too, because my internet sucks. But I'll have Lou on like real soon, Marty. That's no problem. Lou would love to come on. It could just be me and Lou too, just shooting the crap. Lou's a great guy. But okay, I told you I was going to get off here, and I started spewing more nonsense. So love you guys. Talk to you later.